Hi, hello, my name is Sydney and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be reorganizing my bookshelves for the new year. I have a lot of my TBR on the bookshelf, kind of on my last shelf and kind of scattered around through my bookshelf right now. But I recently got this TBR cart with some books that are actually already on it that are also on my physical TBR. So if you couldn't already guess, I have a lot of books on my physical TBR and it's just not working out the way it is. So hopefully this TBR cart will be able to combat that problem that I am having. So I'm just pretty much going to reorganize all of my books, take off the books that I haven't read yet and put them on my TBR cart. And if I don't have enough room, then I'm just going to use my TBR cart for my immediate TBR. So things that I know I really want to get to sometime soon within the first couple of months of this year. But my TBR is pretty extensive and I do have a book buying problem, so I probably should go on a book buying ban, but that's a discussion for a later time. So let's just get into this video. The game plan is to start by taking off all of the books that I haven't read yet, putting them on the floor so I can kind of figure out what books I want to go on my immediate TBR for my TBR cart, and then we're gonna kind of go from there. Let's just start with taking all of my knickknacks off and then getting out my books that are going to be on my physical TBR. Okay, I got all of my knick-knacky stuff off. Now we're going to go in and take off all of the books that I have yet to read. This is not okay. I am gonna count all of the books on my TBR and I'm really scared. I think we're gonna have to do a clearing the TBR cart challenge or book buying ban because I didn't realize how many books I had on my TBR. I'm now going to go in and count all of these books to see how many books I have on my physical TBR. So fingers crossed that it is less than 50 because 50 is my reading goal for this year. Oh. Okay, so I have just figured out I have 60 books on my physical TBR. Now, not all of these are books I immediately want to get to this year. I am now accepting that I have a problem and it's okay. We are going to fix it. I think that we are going to do a clearing the TBR cart challenge. So fingers crossed we can get this number down. So now I'm just going to get into organizing the books that I want to put on my immediate TBR so I can have those on my TBR cart, and then we will go from there and decide what we are going to do. Okay, so we have 38 books on my physical immediate TBR. Now, I wouldn't say all of these are 100% immediates. They are just books that I've been wanting to read for a while. So we are going to put them on the cart. On the top row, I think what I'm going to start doing is putting my TBR for the month. So we will just start off by putting all of the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of January. I honestly don't know how many books I'm going to be able to read this month. That's something that I want to be able to figure out because I do have a full-time job. So it is a little bit difficult to read as much as I used to read. So let's just get into organizing this TBR cart. 6 books on my physical TBR for this month. Maybe we'll be able to get to them. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna really try because I really want to push myself this year. Okay, so I've come to the realization that I think I'm gonna have to use 2 sides of this cart because I have a lot of books left and not enough space to fill this up. While I could just start up here instead, I don't really want to do that. Don't ask me why, I just don't want to do it. So we are going to move some of the books that might not be on my top to the back that's going to be facing this wall. For this lower shelf, I'm just going to put on most of my fantasy, etc., whatever else that I have. Okay, so we did that. That all looks fairly good. That's all my fantasy, and anything else that I have, most of this is romance. And then moving on to the back of the cart, we have some other random things. This kind of like has no order or anything, but I think what I'm going to do is put a couple of the other books that I have. These are the other books that I have that unfortunately did not make it to my TBR cart, but they will one day hopefully get read. If not, if I don't read them, I am going to donate them. All right, our next step is, you can't see the bottom shelf, but everything else on my bookshelf I'm going to take down, and then I'm going to re-put up back where I want them to be and how I want them to be organized, and then we will go to actually organizing and putting it back together. So let's get into that. Okay, I have removed everything from my shelf except, let me see if I can show you guys, except all of those on the bottom, just because those are my like mystery and thriller books, and a couple of like, I think it's all my Taylor Jenkins Reid books, but I decided to leave those down there just because I think I'm only going to move them up a shelf, if not any. Now I'm going to put all of the books that are on the floor on the shelf where I want them to be, and then we're gonna get to like the actual organizing and putting them together. I feel like this doesn't look complete, so I'm honestly not too sure what I want to do. I kind of like it, but I don't love it. So I'm just gonna go with everything else and then see how I feel at the end. Next shelf. These are one of my like favorite romances shelf. So this is going to mean a lot to me. Don't know what I'm gonna do, but I know I really want to display these. Maybe what we will do is, instead of this, I might move my Emily Henry books up here. Now, next up, I'm going to work on this shelf. This is going to be my fantasy shelf with all of my beloved fantasy books. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I have room, I'll put the Crescent City series on here. If not, no big deal. I'll just move that with the rest of the books that I haven't read that are going to stay on my shelf. To put all of my Taylor Jenkins Reid's books at the top and kind of rearrange this. Now I'm going to move on to my bottom shelf, and I'm going to move all of my thrillers, mysteries, stuff like that to the second to last shelf. So let's go ahead and do that. So I think now what I'm going to do is fill in this gap with a couple of the books that I haven't read that kind of fit this area, just so it doesn't look so empty. This one does not fit that area, but I think we're gonna throw it in anyways. Now we are going to work on the bottom half of this. So when I first got into reading, I was really into, I feel like a lot of us, I was really into Colleen Hoover. So I have pretty much all of her books. So I don't ever think about them really. I don't ever really want to go back and read them. I will say my favorite book, which is up there, both of my copies, is Verity. Absolutely love that book until the day I die. I want everybody to read that. But that's why that's up there. But I think I'm going to put all of my Coho books down here just because I don't think about them. And right now they're under my desk, so I don't even see them. So let's do that. Now, with all of this extra space, I think what I'm gonna do is I have just like these random books and I don't know where to put them. So I think what I'm gonna do is just put those under here. I don't really look at them. I think I'm done. I just am going to add my little knickknacks back and then I will show you guys the finished product. Here is an overview of all of my books that I just organized. So at the top, we have a lot of my romances that I liked, but I didn't love. Obviously, my TJR books there, I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. And I also have the Love and Other Words book up there as well. And I've got a little jelly cat, this little card of butterflies that my grandma gave me, a Virgo because I'm a Virgo, so I have a Virgo candle. I've got some of the special edition Afterlight books right here. I have my special edition copy of Verity and then the paperback copy of Verity, which that is like my all-time favorite Colleen Hoover books. Down here, I have the Binding 13 copy of from Chloe Walsh, which I absolutely loved. Then I also have Icebreaker because I didn't have room to put it down here, so she's just chilling up there. Then I have all of my Emily Henry books. Then I have this little card for my boyfriend. I have this little Bambi because obviously if you know Magnolia Park series, I've got Bambi there. Magnolia Park's on display, another little Bambi thing, Sony Angel. And then I have the rest, not a complete series, but most of the Daisy Hates Magnolia Park series. And then I also have the UK edition of Daisy Hates. I also have Never by Jessa Hastings, which I have yet to read. Moving on, I have a special edition copy of Just for the Summer, which is my favorite book from Abby Jimenez. I also have the regular copy of Just for the Summer and Yours Truly, which I need to get more of her books. I've read or listened to most of them. I just don't physically have them. Then I have a little Candy Sony Angel. I have Icebreaker, Wildfire, and Daydream. These are all special editions as well. And I have a little Cookie Sony Angel. This is my favorite Ashley Poston book. It is the 7 Year Slip. Then I have her two other books down there. I've got a little Orange because obviously Clementine, 7 Year Slip. That's just a little Sony Angel. I have a little Smisky Reading. And then going down a shelf, this is my fantasy shelf. So I have all of my Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogies. And I have Spectacular, Caraval, Once Upon a Broken Heart. These are the UK copies. It really makes me upset that not all of these are like the same size, but that's totally cool. These are my favorite fantasy series of like all time. I have a little like dragon dinosaur thing guy there because I thought it fit the fantasy. Next up, we have Sarah J. Maas, all of the ACOTAR books, the Crescent City series, and I mean, I'm missing the third one, but those were the special editions that I found at Barnes, and then Fourth Wing as well. Moving on, we have the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, as well as the Inheritance games. Obviously, I don't have the full set of both of those, but in the future, I will. And then we have a Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. Absolutely loved that trilogy. 5 Survive. Then I have all of these mystery and thrillers. So stopping here are all the ones that I've read. These are ones that I haven't read that were left on my bookshelf, so I just decided to throw them there. I've got a little heart candle. And then I've got this little guy from Nightmare Before Christmas. And then my last bookshelf is just all of my Colleen Hoover books, as well as some miscellaneous books. I have a book loft candle down there, but that's pretty much it. And then on my TBR cart, this is just a little quick overview of what she looks like. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me redecorate my bookshelves and organize my TBR cart. If you guys have any video ideas for me, definitely leave them below in the comments, and let me know what your favorite book is that you read in 2024 down below, and happy reading!